Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines!
Plenty of brand new names, a host of familiar faces, some great new looks on the cars, and a raft of former champions, all gathering to kick off the 2004 Hooters Pro Cup season next. Welcome to USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida for the season opener. The Hooters Pro Cup Series is on speed. Tonight it's the Lucas Oil 250 presented by Hooters Air, the South Tour opening the 2004 campaign. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin, joined topside by Scott Sutherland. Doug Rice will be on pit road for us today. It has been a winter and an off-season of great change in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. As always, new drivers and teams here, new tires for the first time.
Yeah, no, it's really fun to watch these teams try to get into that. But just to mention, you met the girls at UC3. Their rendition of the national anthem was absolutely exquisite. I just wanted to mention that. Great day here today. Plenty of sunshine. It was warm. We're going to 61 degrees right now. This is going to be a great test for these tires here tonight, Rick.
250 laps on maybe the fastest racetrack the Hooters Pro Cup Series sees. 3/4 of a mile here at USA International.
It's a difficult racetrack to drive because your straightaway speed is so fast you have to use a lot of braking, but the corners have a lot of bite in it, and this new tire really likes it.
Earlier, Doug Rice chatted with our pole sitter.
Clay Rogers was one of the last qualifiers here today at Lakeland. Then he had to sweat out a big challenge from Bobby Gill, but he did, and he becomes our first Advanced Auto Parts pole sitter of the 2004 season. Not a bad way to kick off a brand new year, Clay.
Well, I'm excited, no doubt. We came down here and did the test with these tires a couple weeks ago, or last weekend, and everything went well, and really happy to see my brother run well. He's right there in the top 5, and just feel like everything's going in the right direction. All my guys are working good together, and me and my guy Freddie works in the shop so hard all the time, and it just feels good to go out and sit on the pole for those guys and just be able to make the effort, and really proud that we could do that.
Clay Rogers has survived qualifying, he's survived the tire test, and now the real test comes when they drop the green flag here tonight at Lakeland.
I was standing there when he got out of the car, and he still had that adrenaline going through him. He was buzzed up, and it was fun to watch.
Take a look at our Jackaroo Sauces starting grid. We've met Clayton Rogers from Mooresville, North Carolina. Great veteran Bobby Gill alongside, now out of Conover, North Carolina, the Triple Diamond Aviation Ford. Second row inside, Joe Gaeta from Yorktown, Virginia, the USG Sheetrock Ford. And Buggy Pletcher in the 51. He's from Huntersville, North Carolina, the racefansdating.com Ford. Inside, Brad Rogers, rookie, brother of Clay. He's out of Mooresville, the Fire Protection Services Ford. Danny O'Quinn's Chevrolet. He's out of Coburn, Virginia. That's the Homesteader Trailers car. Fourth row, defending champion Shane Huffman from Hickory, North Carolina, and his Ford. Rookie Matt Carter in the 22 from Denver, North Carolina, the HeavyTruckDealers.com machine. Fifth row, Michael Rich in his Dodge, the number 28 from High Point, the Jackaroo Sauces car. Mike Laughlin Jr. has the 7 out of Simpsonville, South Carolina. That is a Ford. Georgie Brunholzel from Mooresville, North Carolina, one of the rookies in car number 20. Daniel Johnson from Midland, North Carolina, the Charlotte Check Cashers 56. In the 7th row, the 92 of Bart Nesbitt, that's a Ford. And Danny Sammons Jr., the AARN.com tourist, he is from New Jersey.
And in row 8, it's Derek Kelly, the local boy right here, Auburndale, Florida, and Odessa Impact Auto Auction Chevrolet. Jimmy Lang, the young man with a brand new learner's permit in his back pocket. He's ready to go in his Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
Another young man from Connecticut, Michael Rutkamp, 17 years old, has the 81 car, 17th. Billy Mowery in the John Boy and Billy car alongside. Row 10, DJ Holzel from Palm Harbor, Florida. And Jeremy Rice out of Royston, Georgia in car number 23, another of the rookie contenders. Take a look at the 11th row on the inside. Veteran Luke Hill from Safety Harbor, Florida. The Renegade Tobacco 41. Jay Fogelman out of Durham, North Carolina. The Lucas Oil Ford all the way back in 22nd.
And a buddy of mine, Billy Bigley Jr. from right down here in Naples, Florida, is Peerless Woodworking Ford Taurus. And Jody Lavender, another crossover over here to the USAR Hooters Pro Cup.
13th row from Alpharetta, Georgia, 17-year-old Michelle Ferriol. That's a Ford, the energy drink car. Don Satterfield has car number 1, the Hawk Saw Blades machine alongside. The 14th row, former North Tour competitor Sam Falone is back in his Chevrolet. Mark Whitaker in car number 3 from Greensboro, North Carolina. Row 15, DJ Kennington, the 77, a North Tour regular. He's from St. Thomas, Canada, in the S&M Freight Ford. And Brandon Collins from Mount Airy, North Carolina, the Collins Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Row 16, rookie Joe Federico in car number 14. Chris Fontaine from Lakeland, Florida in the 47 car. Moving back to row number 17, Tom Buzzy had to take a provisional. He's a driver to watch from Malton, North Carolina, the Naturally Fresh Foods 16. Rookie Jimmy Mann in car number 48 from Greenville, South Carolina, the Sterling Silver Ford. Dave Snodgrass in car number 21 and Calvin Redwine in the 85 round out our 36-car starting lineup tonight here at Lakeland.
Most impressive 14 rookies. We got new faces, we got new guns. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch this happen. 2 countries represented here tonight.
As Michael Rich brings his Dodge onto pit road, onboard looks tonight, as always, from Jay Fogelman. The Lucas Oil Ford has to start 22nd.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a minute. I got some more details for you.
Billy Mowry Jr. takes one of our onboard cameras as well. He goes 19th in the John Boy and Billy Grilling Sauce Ford Taurus. That's car number 17. We'll also ride with Michael Rich, the Jackaroo Sauce's car. Some early problems. We'll see if they can get that car straightened out and send Michael out to line up. He'll probably have to take the green from the back of the field. And we'll take a ride with David Pletcher, the RaceFansDating.com car. The 51 tonight starts in the 4th position.
Yeah, but he gets to slide up because Bobby Gill had to go to the back because of a broken caliper after qualifying, had to replace it. I'm telling you, if you have to work on him after qualifying, it's a tough situation. But here we go. This is what we've been waiting for.
Getting ready to go racing. Tim Boudreau, the honorary starter. He's the distribution manager of the Tire Center in Tampa, Florida. We are underway at Lakeland. Hoorah! Rogers from the pole, the early leader. Dave Pletcher tucking in right behind him. Plenty of side-by-side racing on the front straightaway.
Well, the folks at home, they get to hear it and they get to see it, but they don't get to smell it like we do up here. This is real racing again.
Joe Gaeta moving to 4th spot in the 06. Clayton Rogers in the car Benny Gordon had so much success with, he's off to a 4-car length lead early.
Well, that's due to having experience on radial tires. This team that came in, they did a tire test, and they have found a niche where they can run this car, and I'll tell you, he's fast, been fast all day.
Brad Rogers, Clayton's younger brother in the 29, holding on to 5th. Here comes Shane Huffman, the defending series champ. No backing on the quarter panels of that 84 car.
Yeah, but their team comes in. It's a solid team, a solid effort from last year. They have their act together as well. He really understands the tire. That team they're going to get better. And we're not used to seeing him 5th, 6th place. We're used to see him at the front, so he'll get there.
Huffman trying to work his way around the 29. There's Georgie Brunholzel in the 20 car, holding 9th. Right behind him in the 56. Veteran Daniel Johnson from Midland, North Carolina, the Charlotte Check Cashers Chevrolet. Georgie Brunholzel, a young driver from Long Island originally, showed a lot of promise earlier, making a full run at it this season.
Absolutely. He gets every bit out of his tires when he drives that race car.
Mark Nesbitt in the black number 92 on the bottom, working inside. Danny Salmons, a North Tour Invader in the 97. The AARN.com Ford making a trip to the south to get the new season underway. Nesbitt scored his first Tour victory finally last year. He's a strong contender.
His car is very good. They've been very solid in practice today. You wonder why would Danny Salmons make the trip down here? All the experience you can get on this new tire before their northern season starts definitely is an advantage.
Rookie Jimmy Lang in that red and white 86 car right behind him. Salmons hung on the outside now of Mark Nesbitt from North Carolina, the Briscoe car.
And you already saw a glow a little bit of the rotors, how hard they have to use the brakes.
Cornering speed's a lot higher on the new BF Goodrich Traction TA radials. We'll be right back at Lakeland.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Lucas Oil Products, a leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Top your salad with preservative-free, naturally fresh salad dressing. Look for it in your supermarket's produce section.
Welcome back on speed, just underway at the Lucas Oil 250, the season opener for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. David Clay Rogers in the 44, lapping by Dave Snodgrass in that blue number 21, the H&R block car. Coming up on young Michelle Theriault out of Alpharetta, Georgia, in the energy car. Rogers really putting some fast laps on the racetrack.
I think the word is he's knifing through traffic. After breaking the track record, he is showing what that car is all about.
Your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10, Danny O'Quinn runs second. Brad Rogers is third. Joe Gaeta back to 6th now ahead of Laughlin. Carter is 8th. That's Matt Carter, Georgie Brunholzel, and Daniel Johnson the top 10 as Rogers is setting a tremendous pace.
Yeah, but what about these youngsters still hanging around here in the top 10 with excellent race cars?
Rogers around Theriault. Now that's one of the cars out of the Premier Motorsports stable, Steve Husketh's team, so she's put herself with a very good race team to try to get some experience. There's the 48 car, the car of Jimmy Mann Jr. from Greenville, South Carolina, also going a lap down. And Billy Mowry's behind the wall already. Here's Doug Rice.
Billy the Kid Mowry qualified 18th tonight and had high hopes coming into this event here at Lakeland, but out way too early, Billy. What put you behind the wall here so quick?
Right now the car lost oil pressure, lost power. Not real sure what's wrong with it yet. The guys are looking at it. We're going to see if we can get it fixed, get back out there and get a couple laps. But you know, I really hate it for these guys. They work real hard. You know, we got a new sponsor on board with John Boy and Billy, Grill and Sausage Beef Jerky, and Carolina Team Concept. We're going to be back. You know, whether we get out there tonight or not, we're going to be back, and we're going to do a heck of a job when we get these bugs worked out.
Plenty of confidence from Billy Mowry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good team. They just got to work the bugs, like you said, but he's going to catch heck from John Boy and Billy.
So Danny O'Quinn going by, running second there in the Silver 02. About to put a lap on the 85 of Calvin Redwine. That's the blue car down on the inside, that Monte Carlo. Ford's dominant here in qualifying once again. Top 5 cars in time trials, all Ford Tauruses. The Monte Carlo bunch needs to pick it up, I would say.
Well, the torque curve on the Fords really like this type of racetrack, so when we get to the shorter tracks, I think it'll even out just a little bit. The new cylinder head coming in really changed the way these engine programs are, but I am so impressed with these young drivers.
O'Quinn in that 02, not a lot of experience, a strong second right now behind Clayton Rogers, who is dominating here in the early going. He's got a good lead over O'Quinn here in the 02, but O'Quinn plenty fast. He's already lapping Tom Buzzy in the 16. Trouble in turn 4, yellow flag waving. The 86 car has gone around. That's Jimmy Lang from Bluffton, South Carolina. Looks like he kept it off the wall. There's another car up on the racetrack.
Well, he spun right in front of a bunch of cars, and everybody got around. Amazingly enough, he slid down out of the way, but they really had to climb on the brakes to get out of that one.
Rookie Joe Federico in the 14, coming to a stop on the racetrack, avoiding contact with Lang. Our first caution flag of the night here at USA International. Clayton Rogers is your leader. O'Quinn, Brad Rogers, Huffman, and Joe Gaeta, the top 5. The Lucas Oil 250, presented by Hooters Air, will return in a moment. Welcome back on speed, getting ready for the restart of the Lucas Oil 250 at USA International Speedway here in Lakeland, Florida. First of the Hooters Pro Cup Series season in 2004. First South Tour race, huge field of cars. Nearly 40 teams came to try to qualify tonight, 36 taking the green flag. Clayton Rogers on the outside line will lead the field to green. Riding with David Pletcher, he'll restart 5th.
Isn't this a fantastic view? Let's go!
Green is in the air, and we're back underway. Joe Gaeta directly in front, running 4th in the 06. Now these radial tires, Scott, they don't need a lot of time to come up to pressure or come up to temperature, do they?
Well, as we're going to cycle them, as we run through hot and cold, to get a couple more caution, it will take a lap, maybe a lap and a half for them to come back to temperature and get it back up underneath them. But for the most part, these tires are ready to go when we slam the gas pedal.
You've got to be impressed with the drive that young Danny O'Quinn is putting on in second spot. 29 laps on the board, your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. And rookie Brad Rogers right there in 3rd. Huffman and Gaeta 4th and 5th.
And Huffman and Gaeta, we kind of are used to that, but Brad Rogers, a very intriguing story, get into his brother's race car. I think that is the story of the night at this point in time.
Speeds have picked up dramatically on these BF Goodrich traction TAs, as you would expect. Corner speed's a lot higher, so you're getting off the corners a lot quicker than previously.
But what I think we're going to look for is to see how much they fall off. Before, the tires would kind of, as they wore out, they would fall off. I did not see the dramatic fall off in practice this afternoon, and we'll have to see how it goes through tonight's event.
USAR officials keeping the tire rule in effect. There will be one mandatory pit stop for tires as we watch the battle for second. Brad Rogers in the blue 29 putting a lot of pressure on O'Quinn now.
And these guys, they took what they learned last year with this real soft setup in the front, using a lot of rebound, big sway bars. You can see these things are pinned right to the ground, and that's the concept they went with last year, and they incorporated it in with the radial tire, and it is really working. And these young drivers, they don't know any different. They're just out there, up on top of that steering wheel, giving it heck.
Meantime, for second spot, Rogers. Michael Rich back on pit road. The Jackaroo Sauce's Dodge. They've been on and off pit road several times. Rogers continues to lead in the 44.
At the Jackaroo's car, I think what happened is they lost a sway bar arm off the end of the sway bar, evidently somebody forgot to put the bolts back in during their warm-up lap, and they've been struggling to get it back on to get back into competition.
Brad Rogers looking to the inside on O'Quinn. Big battle for second. Rogers has it. Meantime, Bobby Gill making his way up from the back of the field. Brand new look to the Triple Diamond Aviation 5 car. Bobby qualified well, changed a brake rotor, sent him to the back of the pack for the green flag, and Gill is flying up through the field. And how about defending series champ Shane Huffman right there in fourth?
Yeah, he's just letting everybody come to him. His car is very, very fast, but this is impressive.
Bobby Gill with a lot of changes coming into 2004. Before the drop of the green today, we had a chance to chat with him about his new look for this season.
I don't know, we just made a change. It seemed like everybody's copying the black the last couple of years, so I drove a boy's late model car, Concorde. It's painted just like this. It looked good, so we decided to go with orange.
Bobby with a little different look as well, a little shorter hair, a little more blonde in the hair this year, so try to turn a new page as he laps inside the 8 car of Michel Theriault.
Well, it's the same old attitude, because I talked to him after qualifying when they had to change that brake caliper, and he knew he had to start in the back. I just said, well, fellas, you better look in your mirror, because he's going to come with you.
Got a quick look at the white number 20 of Georgie Brunholzl III out of Long Island, now racing out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Here's Jay Fogelman in the Lucas Oil 4 car. He's gotten in front of Danny Salmons in the 97. Fogelman didn't qualify well at all. Had to start back in the 11th row tonight.
Well, that's another story I said I would tell you about. I got over there just before qualifying. That's on the scales. They changed 2 springs, 2 shocks, a sway bar, and the rear gear. And I said, what on earth are you doing? He said, well, we're so bad right now, it makes no difference. And here he is. He's coming through the field.
Battling for 11th spot with Daniel Johnson. Danny Salmons right there as well, the ARN.com Ford. 4-way battle for 11th, and Fogelman to the bottom in 3. Look at that left front brake rotor.
Yeah, you're going to see that all night, folks. You're going to see the brake rotors get really hot, but it's only for a short stage. You got to get these things slowed down from 155, 160 miles an hour down to about 80, and it has to happen in a very short period of time.
And Fogelman has gotten by the 56 to pick up 11th spot. So Jay Fogelman on his way toward the front. He needs some help. He needs a caution flag or two to try to reel in the lead group of cars. Still early in the going tonight at USA International. A lot of laps remaining to be run and a very rapid pace being laid down. Clayton Rogers has led all the way from the pole in car number 44.
And Daniel Johnson's having a very good race as well. He really didn't want to give that position up, and he fought back on the outside. He still has a very good race car. Just got to settle down and let the thing kind of come to him just a little bit.
Johnson in the 56, Salmons in the 97 car. They're running back in 11th and 12th spot right now. Derek Kelly from Auburndale, Florida, in that black and yellow paint scheme 00. He's right there in the thick of things as well for that position.
And another thing I'd like to hit on is Bill Boger has 3 headsets on tonight. He's talking to Brad Rogers, Clayton Rogers, and Danny Salmons. I said, how are you going to do all this? He said, I don't know. We'll work on it in the race.
Salmons now to the bottom, works his way inside Johnson in the 56. So Danny Salmons picking up another position here as well. See if Derek Kelly can get the job done. Now, part of the science of radial tire technology in short track racing is, as you mentioned, Scott, the tires don't change in performance that much over the course of a run. Johnson, though, is backing up. What's the problem?
Well, here's the thing. They don't change in circumference. In other words, your stagger doesn't change. But what does change is the air pressure. The air pressure will go up and your spring value will increase. The guys that are veteran teams and really understand what that means, they have a little bit better concept of what their car is going to do throughout the race. Like the 44 car, I think they hit it right on the head.
Clayton Rogers certainly showing that he knows what this sort of racing is all about, working his way to the inside of the 18 car to put Doug Holzel, DJ Holzel, another lap down. Up onto the back straightaway here at USA International. Next in line is the 43 car. That's rookie Brandon Collins from Mount Airy, North Carolina. Collins in that 43, the Collins Chevrolet Coca-Cola Monte Carlo.
That car is extraordinarily fast. And folks at home, if you have no idea how to get around Lakeland Speedway, watch the 44 car, his left side, eat this yellow lineup. And that's what you got to do to get around this racetrack.
Purple car up ahead of the leader is the 3 of Mark Whitaker. He's from Greensboro, the Universal Dental Machine. That is a Chevrolet as well. Whitaker, an interesting story, made a couple of NASCAR Busch Series starts back in the late 80s. He's been around the sport for quite a while, making a full-fledged effort again this season in the Universal Dental car. Now Johnson to the inside of Tom Buzzy there in the 16.
And they had to be very careful about getting that much heat, because heat does build pressure inside these tires. Therefore, the spring rate is going to go up. just like you see in the 44 car. But if you're ready for it, and if you have compensated for that, you're still in good shape.
Clayton Rogers has led all the way. Daniel Johnson in the 56, and Derek Kelly in the 00, running 13th and 14th now as we close in on the 50-lap mark here at USA. Good battle for position down into turn 3. Rogers, meantime, continues to dominate.
And Derek Kelly's car looks pretty decent right now. He's really struggled this afternoon in practice, but I think come the end of the race, he's going to be right back. He has won here before.
The 41 of Luke Hill from Safety Harbor, Florida, holding off Clayton Rogers. Rogers with no room to get by right now. He can afford to be patient. Sam Falone there in the 48 from New York State, moving up out of the way. Hill will swing up as well. That'll open the door for Rogers on the bottom of the racetrack. New livery for Luke Hill's car, the Tucson Ford Taurus this season. Out of turn. Oh, he bobbles. He's going to go around. Luke Hill loses it in front of the race leader. Rogers missed it. Here comes the 43 sliding to a stop, just avoiding him. Brandon Collins from Mount Airy, North Carolina, in his Chevrolet. That could have been a huge wreck off turn 4.
They're running flat out when they come up off turn 4, so the spotters did a great job getting these guys slowed down, Rick. That could have been a catastrophe right there.
When you're the race leader and you see the car in front of you that you're trying to lap, that you're much faster than lose it, what do you think?
Well, you're looking for a hole. You're hoping there's some place you can get, and fortunately, Mr. Falone wasn't still on the outside.
Here it is again off of turn 4. Hill goes around. Rogers right there, able to go high. Good thing, I guess, that Rogers saw that lane. The 41 car didn't slide up the racetrack.
And it looked like Luke Hill had just barely caught the apron down at the bottom. And you could see his car bobble. He just barely caught that apron, probably used it to make his car turn. And you'll see it right here. The car's going to bobble just a bit. Just barely caught the apron. That's just enough for the car to go around.
Clayton Rogers with a quick yank of the wheel to the right, going around the 41 as they come off turn 4. Sam Falone able to follow. No damage. The 43 sliding to a stop. Our second caution of the night on lap 48. In trouble for the driver who was running 7th. Dave Pletcher in the 51, out of power as he coasts down pit road.
Yeah, they had to push his car all the way around, bring it into down pit road. Now, it didn't look like a blown engine. It must be something to do with an ignition problem or maybe a fuel problem.
So, we will come back for the restart at Lakeland. Welcome back on Speed. Coverage of the Lucas Oil Products 250 presented by Hooters Air, the 2004 season opener for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. With Scott Sutherland, I'm Rick Benjamin. Doug Rice on pit road tonight, ready for the restart. Clayton Rogers in the 44 has led all the way after setting a new track record at qualifying.
Yeah, he's been fast, and we've been watching him, but I'm telling you, there's been a lot of racing going in behind him. But that's his little brother right behind him. He can see him in his mirror.
How much pressure will little brother put on as we get the green flag on lap 54?
Well, I think that's only as good as this race car. What I would like to learn from older brother. That's what I would like to do.
So maybe he'll just follow and watch the line. Your B.F. Goodrich Traction TA full field summary at lap 54. Mike Laughlin, Bobby Gill in the top 10. Johnson is 11th ahead of Derek Kelly and Billy Bigley. Kennington 15th. Lang, Rice, and Rutkamp 16th, 17th, and 18th. Jody Lavender, Truck Series veteran, in 19th. Brett Holzel back there in 21st. Hill 22nd. Redwine is 23rd. Collins in 26th ahead of Buzzy. Whitaker, Fontaine, and Sam Falone. Dave Pletcher 3 laps down now with under the hood troubles. Mike Rich 33rd, 27 laps down. Billy Mowry behind the wall. He will get credit for 36th position tonight here at USA International.
And that group right there, about 7th and 8th and 9th, are in the midst of all that lap traffic, and they are really struggling to get out in the open where they get back down to laying laps because the leaders are checking out.
Jay Fogelman in car number 4 had to battle back after starting 22nd. He's risen to 9th position right now, trying to move in on an interesting team that's directly in front of that 4 car. That's the 22 South. Young driver who's got a very famous dad, Matt Carter from Denver, North Carolina, the HeavyTruckDealers.com car. Travis Carter, well-known NASCAR crew chief and car owner, is his father. He's here spotting tonight, helping Matt get his career underway in the Hooters Pro Cup Series.
And I had the opportunity to meet his father, and he can tell some stories, let me tell you. Jay Fogelman, this was an interesting story. I told you earlier today, 2 springs, 2 shocks, a sway bar. Man, I'm not happy with this race car, is all he could tell me. I said, Jay, just get in the thing, drive it in the middle of the race, it'll come to you. Get out of what you can, and that's what Jay Fogelman does, race in and race out.
And Fogelman moving to the South Tour full-time this season. Now for 5th, Bobby Gill from the back of the pack, challenging Joe Gaeta on the inside down the front straightaway.
I've been able to watch him come all the way through the field. He's finally getting up where the cameras can pick him up, but I've been watching him come through. That guy put on a clinic coming through the field. It won't be long. He's going to be knocking the door up there with Clayton Rogers.
So Bobby Gill in the Triple Diamond Aviation car, that brand new orange and white paint scheme for 2004, marching through the pack as we have come to expect from him. Next in line, Danny O'Quinn in the 02 car, and Gill really putting some quick times up on the scoreboard.
Making the transition to the radial tires for a veteran driver is really supposed to be a difficult. I don't see where it happened with Bobby Gill. He's been able to just pick it up and go with it after what he learned from last year.
Clay Rogers in the 44 continues to dominate. That's the Toff Bedliners car that Benny Gordon had so much success with last year in the Champions Challenge Series that closed out the 2003 Hooters Cup season. Finished second in the national championship with that machine. Brother Brad Rogers, the Fire Protection Services car. Oh, the yellow flag's in the air. We've got trouble on the racetrack on lap 61.
Man.
Big skirmish over in the second corner. The 47 of Chris Fontaine among those involved. The 43, Brandon Collins. Martin Nesbitt's 92 car. The 23 of Jeremy Rice as well. Rice stuffed into the wall, and it looks like that car will not restart. Big scramble, our third caution of the night. Mark Whitaker may have some damage to the 3 car as well. Plenty of fun for all the fans here tonight at USA International. Let's show you how we've gotten here. Clayton Rogers in the 44. Fast qualifier, he's led all the way. Trouble early for Jimmy Lang in the 86. A great battle for second, and champion Bobby Gill is flying through the field. Welcome back on Speed. The Lucas Oil 250 from USA International Speedway, the season opener for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. With Scott Sutherland, I'm Rick Benjamin, Doug Rice patrolling pit road for us tonight. All these teams looking ahead to at least one mandatory pit stop, usually around midway. It'll be interesting to see what sort of strategy changes these drivers might employ as we get into this first season on the new radial tires.
Yeah, what they're going to do right now is just, what can I do different when we get to halfway or when we make our tire change? What am I going to do different? I don't think the 44 car is going to do a darn thing.
Clayton Rogers certainly with no reason to change anything. 68 laps complete, your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. Clay Rogers, Brad Rogers, Joe Gaeta up to 6th. Mike Laughlin steady in 7th. Matt Carter rides 8th. Fogelman and Sammons the rest of the top 10. Look at Clay Rogers in the 44 pull away from his brother in the 29.
Yeah, and there's really not anything they can do about it. He just has that something a little bit extra to be able to drive away from these guys. Bobby Gill's the only car on the stopwatch that shows he can run with the 44 car.
He's gotten by Danny O'Quinn to pick up another spot. Gill in the 5. 3-time series champion. You certainly expect to see him in the thick of things. He's up to 4th now. Just in front of him, last year's champion, Shane Huffman, in that all-black 84 as they lapped by Martin Nesbitt, who was involved in that last caution up in the turn 2 wall. Now, Nesbitt is a guy we know will be strong as the year goes on. Huffman and Gill moving ever closer to Clayton Rogers.
And it looks like Shane Huffman has a very good race car as well. His car is kind of coming to him, so to speak. And maybe he has a little muscle left that he can exploit once we get down to it. But those guys are going to be, I think Bobby Gill is going to get in this position and be patient now until they can get to halfway, change those tires, and maybe just make a little correction.
Tom Buzzy in the 16 car, the Naturally Fresh Foods Ford. Black flagged. He did not go to the end of the longest line prior to the restart. Buzzy not on the lead lap. Stop and go penalty served. He'll be back up on the speedway. Now, if you're Gill or Huffman, I would think at this point you're not even to the 100 lap mark. You can really ride, keep the leader in sight.
Well, for Bobby Gill, he has not been riding all night. No. He had to come from dead last. He came through a bunch of traffic, and watching him, it is absolutely wonderful to be able to watch a driver with his veteran talents come through these young guys. And you know what? When they look up in the mirror and they see this bright orange thing, they go, whoa, let him go, because, man, he's been on a mission.
Now, Clay Rogers leads. His young brother Brad in 2nd spot in a car Clayton used to drive. He's a rookie in the series. Does he help his brother? Does he use up a lot of racetrack in that 29?
I think at this point, all he's doing to do is make laps. He's going to learn everything he can. He watches his brother in front of him. He's got spotters telling him, kind of talking to him through this thing in his ears. So he just got to learn to make laps. That's the car as fast as the 5 car, though.
He appears to be quicker than Huffman in the 84. Huffman having trouble staying down on the bottom in the corners here at USA. So Gill trying to find a way around the 84 for 3rd spot. Is this a track where you want to be at the bottom in the corners? Do you have to be down low?
You absolutely have to be on that yellow line, especially on the exit of the corner. You have to go in. You can go in a little bit higher, get it turned. Be on that yellow line when you leave, when you exit. Right there is that's where all the time is made at this racetrack.
Gill with a picture-perfect pass off the corner, getting around the 84 of Huffman, so give Bobby Gill 3rd spot on these brand new BF Goodrich radials. Earlier we asked Doug Rice to check out the new tire.
fans are going to benefit from better racing. The drivers are going to have more fun driving the cars.
And the landscape has greatly changed here in 2004. As you can see, this year, it's a BF Goodrich Traction TA radial tire that they'll become the official tire of the Hooters Pro Cup Series. And I've got the marketing manager for BF Goodrich, Todd Steen, with me. Todd, why now? Why BF Goodrich, and why into Hooters Pro Cup?
Well, Doug, it's an exciting time to be a part of BF Goodrich Tires. We've been looking at USAR and Hooters Pro Cup for a while, and we started talking to them back in probably last May. We said, we want to extend our brand and be a part of your competition. And they said, welcome aboard.
The tires are just unbelievably consistent. I mean, we ran our fastest laps, 30, 40 laps on a set of tires. That's just something that we've never dealt with before, and so far it's just been a lot of fun, to be honest with you. You don't have to worry about the cars falling off near as much. They stay under you, they stay where you can drive them hard every lap.
It's actually a good change for me, being that I am a rookie coming into the series, and now going to a new tire, it kind of brings everybody back down a couple steps, so it'll even the playing field somewhat.
And if it wasn't enough to be excited about the competition element these new radial tires are going to bring to Hooters Pro Cup this year, there's one other element that every competitor is very excited about, and that's the fact that BF Goodrich has installed a contingency program that throughout the year will give away $135,000 worth of these BF Goodrich Traction TA radial tires to the competitors in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. And when you start talking to drivers, when you start talking about free tires, everybody gets excited.
Certainly a great program for the BF Goodrich Traction TA radials here in the Hooters Pro Cup Series for the next several seasons. One driver really using them to great advantage, veteran Bobby Gill in the 5 from the back of the pack. He is now second, having gotten around Bradley Rogers.
And he has put on a driver's clinic tonight to come from the back of the field to get to the position he is. It's great that the BF Goodrich radios come to this program because of the young drivers getting the experience if they want to progress in their driving career.
Now, Bobby Gill's a driver who's got a little bit of radial experience previous to this season, not a great deal. I thought he might be one of the guys who would have trouble adapting to the new tires. He's obviously done his homework.
I think this tire feels so good up underneath you. I know when I drove it, it just kind of, it felt like a real sticky tire, you know, like they used to have in the old days, you know, when you put, you know, whatever. But this is a great tire. You can get out there, really manhandle it, and it's fun to drive.
Leader Clay Rogers on the 44. Again, heavy lap traffic to deal with, trying to get inside the 3 of Mark Whitaker. Passing flag being shown. Rogers to the bottom will get by Whitaker. Gets by Michelle Theriault as well in the black number 8. And he has opened up a big lead again.
He has to be very patient here because you can get the front end knocked off this thing or a fender knocked off. He just has to be patient go through these lap traffic.
Getting close to 100 laps on the board tonight. Let's get a word with Clay Rogers' crew chief, Brad Fritz.
Clay Rogers has dominated the early going here tonight. Brad Fritz is his crew chief. Brad, are you guys a little bit worried? It looks like Bobby Gill has rallied from the back of the pack and is coming in a hurry.
Yeah, I've had a clock on both of them. I think the only one I'm worried about is that 29 car.
So you're just worried about your little brother basically in the fight?
Yeah, he's done a hell of a job today. That's the only one I've kept the clock on. He's the only one I'm worried about.
I don't know, the way Bobby Gill's marched up through the field, Scott, I'd be concerned about that 5.
Yeah, and I would be. And right now he's going around, Clayton Rogers going around Billy Bigley, which kind of surprised me with Billy Bigley, but that shows you how good Clayton Rogers' car is. He's going through the field at will. Bobby Gill's car is just as good, and I will look for Bobby Gill to make a correction when they change tires that will make him that much better.
Rogers able to move that 44 car high, low, plenty quick off the corners, very strong in the middle of the corners, hasn't put a wheel wrong here all night. Rogers down the backstretch, the yellow waving on lap 92. It's our 4th caution of the night. Some debris on the racetrack, evidently from the 51 of Dave Pletcher, who goes behind the wall.
Yeah, they've got some work. You know, they've been working on that thing all night long. We've seen David Pletcher have some great runs out here, but they're going to have a terminal incident behind the wall.
Well, the Hooters girls on hand to enhance everyone's enjoyment tonight at USA. We'll take a quick timeout and be right back on Speed.
Hi, we're UC3. Don't go away. There's a lot of racing to come.
Welcome back on Speed. Coverage of the Lucas Oil Products 250 presented tonight by Hooters Air. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour season opener here in 2004. Big crowd on hand here at Lakeland. Upcoming events in the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series: New Smyrna Speedway in New Smyrna, Florida on the 20th of March, to Peach State in Jefferson, Georgia in April, along with South Boston, Concord Motorsports Park just outside Charlotte, and then Lonesome Pine Speedway. Contact your local racetrack. Get your tickets ordered quickly for the early season run in the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. Green flag back in the air just shy of the 100-lap mark. Clay Rogers has led all the way. Bobby Gill in second. He's got an opportunity here to try to catch the 44.
Yeah, kind of an opportunity. It looks like his car takes off on the restart a little bit better than Clay Rogers does, so maybe he can make a run. But Mike Laughlin Jr. has slowly got into this little box.
Third spot belongs to Brad Rogers in the 29. Shane Huffman, the defending series champion, is fourth. Mike Laughlin in that white number 7. Everyone bunched up off that restart. We put 100 laps up on the board tonight here at USA International, and it's been all Clay Rogers. Gill from the back to second. Our BF Goodrich Tires full field rundown. Danny O'Quinn down to 6th. Carter is 7th with a great run. And how about Don Satterfield in 10th?
Don Satterfield with a brand new race car, Rick. First time he's ever come with a brand new race car, and yes, running 10th. You go get him, boy.
Derek Kelly in 16th. There's Michelle Ferriald in that 8 car for Premier Motorsports, 21st, ahead of Luke Hill. Sam Falone there too. Fontaine, DJ Holzel, Nesbitt in 29th, and Georgie Brunholzel rounding out the top 30. Dave Pletcher behind the wall. Michael Rich 37 laps down on the racetrack. Billy Mowry, first car out tonight in that John Boy Billy's Grill and Sauce, number 17. Riding with Jay Fogelman in the 4 car. Fogelman had been making steady progress up through the field in that machine. He sits 8th right now, and yellow waving again. There's debris on the racetrack.
Yeah, and most importantly, this is Joe Gaeta, and right now he's sitting 16th, but he's gotten his tires already. I saw him come down pit road, get tires. I think the rest of them still have to come in. This will be your leader when we come back, or maybe it might take one more caution, but he's going to work his way through the field by virtue of them having to get tires.
It's a brake duct on the racetrack. That's the reason for the caution. Clayton Rogers continues to lead. Bobby Gill runs second. A lot of fans at USA this weekend meeting their favorite Hooters Cup stars. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed. It's the Lucas Oil 250 presented by Hooters Air. We're at USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida for the season opener, the Hooters Pro Cup Tour on Speed. Clay Rogers in that white 44 with the blue roof. He's led all the way, but Bobby Gill right behind him in the Triple Diamond 5 car. 107 laps complete. Here we go once again. Brad Rogers trying to hang on in 3rd spot, but he's got his hands full back there.
And I really thought
one car in trouble way up high.
I really thought that he could make a run at him on the last caution, but it looks like after 2 laps, the 44 car gets the heat back in his tires, and he just checks out.
Brad Rogers in the 29, moving smartly back to 3rd spot. Shane Huffman is 4th. Bobby Gill has had a winter of transition. In fact, when he came here, he didn't have a spotter, but that's changed, Doug.
As you can tell by looking at the scoreboard, the number 5 of Bobby Gill has moved into 2nd place. That's pretty remarkable considering that Gill had to serve a penalty because his crew worked on the car after qualifying tonight, which means he had to start at the back of the pack. Now, one of the things that Gill has got working for him tonight, besides that new orange paint scheme, is his spotter. Way up on the roof here at Lakeland Speedway is Jason Sarvis. Sarvis is the 2002 Hooters Pro Cup champion. On the way down here, Gill and Sarvis were talking, and Gill asked Sarvis to spot for him. At first, Jason just thought he was kidding and said, "No way." And Gill said, "Wait a minute, you owe me. You spun me out last year. I need a favor. You're spotting tonight." So up on the top of the tower, Jason Sarvis, a past champion of the Hooters Pro Cup Series, spotting for right now 2nd place running Bobby Gill.
That is amazing. You know, with the driest sense of humor out of either driver is Bobby Gill, but the way to put it, you owe me. That's the way it is.
Well, if there was ill will between the two, you could certainly pay a guy back by spotting for him without any problem at all. But Sarvis doing a great job. We saw Mike Laughlin Jr. take a spot away from Shane Huffman a moment ago. How about this traffic jam for 7th, 8th, and 9th? Jay Fogelman in the 4 car right in front of Daniel Johnson. Don Satterfield, that brand new Hawk Saw Blade Chevy on the bottom. Let's ride with Fogelman here. Calvin Redwine in the mix as well in the aqua color number 85.
Jay Fogelman wants to get to that bottom groove down on that yellow line because we know that is the best place to go around the racetrack. However, he's got 2 guys in front of him about the same speed. He's got to make a decision. Do I stay in the top line or the bottom? Because if you don't fill both holes, somebody's going to get you.
Redwine is a lap down. That's Jody Lavender from the NASCAR Truck Series in the 99, the silver car that's up ahead of Fogelman. Satterfield really turning in a nice run in that red and black number 1.
And his car turns very well. He goes into the middle of the corner, turns the steering wheel, and accelerates very good off the bottom of the corner.
Fogelman's going to have trouble holding Satterfield off. Don on the bottom of the racetrack will get by. Looks as though he might have something flapping around loose inside the one car.
And I can't tell if that's a tear off from the windshield or if it's actually a piece of sheet metal, but I think it's a tear off on. Maybe we can get a better look at it later on.
It does look to be a piece of the clear plastic that's on top of the Lexan windshield in these cars. Fogelman tucks in behind the one as they battle for position. That's red wine in the 85, not on the lead lap, on the outside of this battle for position.
And you know, folks, when you're looking from home, you see these cars bouncing around. It does feel like that in the car, but nowhere near as dramatic as what we're looking at from the inside these cameras.
Battling for 8th, 9th, and 10th, Fogelman, as Daniel Johnson works to the inside of red wine. There's Joe Gaeta right behind. They're 10th and 11th. Gaeta may be using a different pit stop strategy.
Yeah, well, he already got his tires. I saw him come down pit road, so he's in pretty good shape when everybody else changes.
Oh, caution over in turn 2. Yellow flag waving for the 6th time tonight. Shane Huffman, the defending series champion, and rookie Michelle Theriault in the 8 car getting into it. And the 8 turned around, stopped on the racetrack. She now begins to roll. The 17-year-old rookie puts that car back in gear. But how about Huffman, the defending champion, in big trouble?
He is not having a Shane Huffman-like night because his car is not up to par what he wants and what we are used to seeing. And I'm telling you, getting caught in little things like this really ruins your day.
And there's the energy drink number 8 for Michelle Theriault out of Northeast Georgia. Fans waving here as we are under caution once again. Now we're not quite to halfway, and typically in the past anyway, you'd think this would be a perfect pit stop opportunity.
I'd be taking it if I was in contention and if I couldn't get that lead. And here they come.
Clay Rogers in the 44, Bobby Gill in the 5, Brad Rogers in the 29. Among the leaders will come to pit road. Now they do need to make a tire change, even though the tires may not need to be replaced at this point. Some other cars may opt to stay out on the racetrack and try to gain track position. Let's see what the leaders accomplish on pit road. Here's Doug.
This caution flag tailor-made for the front runners. First off, the pole sitter and race leader, the 44 of Clay Rogers. He has the preferred pit stall, number 1 here on pit road. They'll do a 4 tire stops and they'll top him off with Sunoco. Now, of course, this is a key stop here. Bobby Gill right behind him. Gill has been making a fierce charge throughout the entire race. He started at the back of the pack and he has fought his way up to 2nd place. They're going for a 4 tire change also on the orange number 5 of Gill. Meanwhile, Clay Rogers, he's out of his pit stall. Now they're trying to finish up the work on Bobby Gill. Left side tires bolted on securely. Gill down and away. They will exit pit road as they came on, 1st and 2nd, and it looks like 3rd off will be the 84 of Shane Huffman.
Meantime, the 29 team struggling on pit road for rookie Brad Rogers.
Yeah, the big loser was definitely the 29 car. They had a problem getting the left front tire off. And that is so frustrating when you're a driver and you just drive the best you can and come through the field and have that kind of problem.
Take a quick look back at what we've seen so far tonight. Pit stops on lap 117 for the leaders. Bobby Gill has made his way to 2nd. We'll see if he could make changes that might give him a shot at Clay Rogers. Welcome back on Speed. Coverage of the Hooters Pro Cup Series tonight, the Lucas Oil 250 at USA International. Chilly night, everyone bundling up now that the sun has gone down, getting set for a restart. And Mike Laughlin Jr. will be the restart pole sitter. He and Joe Gaeta benefited. Laughlin stayed out. How about Brad Rogers? Things going from bad to worse for the 29.
Yeah, they're having a heck of a time. Have to come back in, make sure all the lug nuts are on. It's going to be a tough roll for that kid to come from the back now.
Scoring showing him back in 13th spot after 2 trips to pit road under caution. Green is back in the air. We're halfway home tonight. Joe Gaeta takes a look inside Jody Lavender's machine, the 99 car. He wants to get by and try to chase down the leader, Laughlin Jr. Clayton Rogers restarting back there in the 44 in 3rd spot. Your halfway leader, Mike Laughlin Jr. wins the Lucas Oil bonus money. He's led 5 laps, the only lead change of the night. Laughlin decided not to come to pit road during that caution.
Hey, how about it? 5 laps, pick up a grand? That's my kind of racing. That was a very good move on their part. Now let's just hope, for his sake, he can get a caution. These things can go about 150 laps on fuel. So he needs to get a caution within the next 25 laps or so, or he's going to have himself in trouble.
Laughlin in the Laughlin Race Products Ford. home zone machine. Out in front, Gator running second. Rogers up to third now. Bobby Gill tucking in at fourth, and Shane Huffman, after the spin, has moved his way back to fifth among the leaders.
And Rick, this is what we wanted to see. If the BF Goodrich Radio could actually run with brand new tires, and look at Mike Laughlin leading this race, has 125 laps on him, and they are struggling to keep up with him.
Tires don't fall off nearly as radically as the previous tires used in the series. Gaeta, meantime, who took his tires early, able to stay in front of Rogers. Here's Gill challenging Clay Rogers on the high side.
Wow, is that a strong move or what?
The 5 car very quick. Gaeta, meantime, ducks to the inside of Laughlin, going for the lead. And he'll get the spot. Gaeta to the point as they come down the front straightaway. Rogers will move to second. That'll be it for Mike Laughlin. He'll be thinking, I've got to get to pit road pretty soon.
And Bobby Gill made the ultimate mistake. He saw that hole on the outside. He got in there, and he had to let 2 cars go by him because of that fact, but it ain't over yet.
Well, he was able to drive by Shane Huffman earlier without much problem, and by Gaeta. Rogers is the guy he's got to be watching. Now, this is the first race on these brand new BFG radials. I'm sure the teams haven't fully thought through what their strategy needs to be.
Absolutely not. They're just playing it by ear. They've got to make an adjustment what they're used to in the past. But Bobby Gill was hoping he could get the 44 car caught in there and get an opportunity to get around, because if he could get in front of him, they run about the same speeds out in open traffic.
Your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10 in lap 130. Gaeta still the leader. Rogers putting pressure. Oh, contact! In turn 1, the leader, Gaeta, goes around.
Oh, man.
Huffman just gets by him. The field scatters our 7th yellow of the night on lap 131. I'm not so sure that Rogers didn't put the bumper to the 06.
Well, there was definitely contact, but the point is, how far along was he? Was the 44 all the way up to his wheel, or did the 06 come down? Or
I don't think so. Let's take another look at it here. Well, Gaeta did chop down, it looks like.
That is a tough racing call to be made from upstairs here.
Clay Rogers right down on the yellow line. Gaeta a good car width up alongside at the entrance to the turn. Joe doing a nice job in the Kimnock Ford to keep that car from drifting down. Here it is again. It does look from that angle as though Rogers got into him, but when we look at it from behind on the front straightaway, it does appear that Gaeta turned down going into the corner.
He was alongside him, and really there was a questionable call whether there was enough room.
Mike Laughlin elected to stay out and inherit the lead under the last caution, but this time around they decide to bring the white number 7 into the pits. Looks like they'll go for 4 tire stops and fuel here on Laughlin. He's been really pleased with the car tonight. They're still going to work on the handling a little bit. Looks like they'll make a wedge adjustment on the right-hand side of the car and put 4 fresh tires on for Mike Laughlin, that's had a good run here tonight. A little bit off on the pit strategy. He'll be back in the pack on the restart, guys, but he will have 4 fresh tires to go the rest of the way.
And they did make a change. He went down one round on the right rear, but you know what? He made $1,000 for this pit stop.
We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed. Coverage of the Lucas Oil Products 250 presented by Hooters Air. The season opener for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour tonight on Speed. With Scott Sutherland, I'm Rick Benjamin. Doug Rice is on pit road. Joe Gaeta's crew chief, Jamie Mosley, standing by with Doug Rice.
Jamie, Joe spun around up there while he was battling for the lead, but it didn't look like the car picked up that much damage. What's the real story?
We were in pretty good shape when the USG Kimnock Ford. The 44 and Joe got together out there. We come in a quick pitted, hoping to give us some good track position. We feel like the car's a little bit better. We're going to have some tires for the end, hopefully.
Well, Gaeta will restart back in 14th spot when we go green. Past halfway now, and all the leaders, I'm sure, thinking, hey, we've got to be able to run to the finish.
I was looking at the front of the 44 car, though, to see if there was damage on the right front corner of his car, because that would be a problem if it got folded in on the tire.
117 laps to go tonight here at Lakeland. Back underway, Clay Rogers in the 44 is out in front. Shane Huffman trying to hang on to second, but Bobby Gill's all over him in the 5 car.
And Shane Huffman has been through a world of things tonight, and to be back up in second position, it's really a tribute to how hard his team has worked.
Lapping by the 99 of Jody Lavender, making his first start in the Hooters Pro Cup South Tour tonight. But he's a young driver I think we'll see a lot of. Oh, yellow again! The 86 has gone around on lap 137. Caution waving. He's whacked the wall a ton. Rookie Jimmy Lang, the new Stanton Auto Body Chevrolet from Bluffton, South Carolina, right near Charleston, has pounded the fence. Window net down. He's got the helmet off. He'll climb out. Jimmy Lang will not soon forget his first start in the Hooters Pro Cup Series.
And he hit it hard enough where it will snap your neck, and you will feel that. And you can see he's trying to catch his breath right now, Rick.
Take another look at what happened right at the exit of 2. The car turned right, went right up the racetrack, and slammed the fence.
It looks like there may have been just a little bit of contact.
It's like Don Satterfield and Lang may have gotten together in the middle of turn 2. So back under caution. Will return at Lakeland.
When you come to the racetrack, don't forget to sign up for the Team Hooters Challenge.
You can win $500.
Brand new promotion for our fans to get involved with at Hooters Pro Cup events. Sign up when you come to the racetrack. One lucky winner will be drawn. That person will win a Hooters fan pack. Tonight's winner, Dieter Lieber. All the way from Germany to witness his first USAR Hooters Pro Cup event. Now, when you sign up, you select a driver you think will win the race. That's what could win you the $500 bonus. Dieter selected Shane Huffman, who's currently second. So with 107 laps to go, Scott, he's got an opportunity to pocket $500.
Absolutely.
Our Naturally Fresh Foods top 10 with 107 laps to go. Jay Fogelman 6th, Danny O'Quinn 7th, Salmons, Brad Rogers, and Michael Rutkamp from Wilton, Connecticut. The rest of the top 10. Everybody, though, still chasing Clayton Rogers in the 44.
As well as Shane Huffman, as well as Bobby Gill, who I think has the best opportunity to go after the 44 car.
Gill has been strong. He marched his way to second earlier. The pit stop cycle and the cautions have given Huffman an opportunity to climb back into second. Gill does seem to have the faster of the 2 cars.
It appears that way, but how much is Clayton Rogers actually using of his race car? Does he just get out about 5-6 car lengths and then just rest a little bit, or is he using everything under the hood?
Huffman in that black 84, the defending series champion, trying to score a victory here in the first race of 2004 without a sponsor on the rear quarter panels of that Ford Taurus. Gill with his familiar backers, Triple Diamond Aviation. Very quick all evening long. You've got 3 very fast race cars at the front of the field.
And in the 4th spot there is a very intriguing, to me, with Travis Carter's son, Matt Carter, hanging in there.
Oh,
that very good.
Don Satterfield, his brand new Hawk Saw Blade Chevy. He's been black flag smoke showing out of the back of the 1 car.
Brand new car, and I think they have a terminal engine problem from the smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe.
Tough break indeed for the veteran out of Virginia. Satterfield with high hopes coming in here this weekend. Gill in 3rd in the orange and white number 5, still unable to get around Shane Huffman. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't know. He's kind of measuring him right now. I saw a little bit of damage in the hood, though. Must be from earlier tonight.
For 5th spot, Jay Fogelman, Danny O'Quinn in the 02. How about Mark Nesbitt in the 92? Getting up into contention here as we work toward 100 laps to go. Watching Jay Fogelman and Danny O'Quinn. They're battling for position, running 5th and 6th. Mark Nesbitt back there in the 92 car. Nesbitt not on the lead lap tonight.
But Mark Nesbitt had a hard time just getting here because he was snowed in Asheville, North Carolina on Thursday. Didn't even make it to practice yesterday. So they had a full-time job just to get here in order to get this racing this weekend.
And you may have heard much of North Carolina blanketed by more than a foot of snow. So getting down to Florida, a relief for many of these teams, but it was hard hauling for a lot of them. Mike Laughlin Jr. led at halfway, back up to 9th after making his stop a little later than many of the other leaders.
Yeah, he has a very good race car, but can he drive back up to the front? That's really going to be tough.
Our VF Goodrich full field summary on lap 150, 100 to go. Huffman in 2nd. Danny O'Quinn in 6th ahead of Salmons. Brad Rogers is 8th. Billy Bigley up to 10th ahead of young Michael Rutkamp. A good run to 11th. There's Redwine in 15th spot. Hill is 16th. Luke Hill. Daniel Johnson had a top 10 going earlier. He's back in 18th. Sam Pillow in 21st. DJ Holzel 23rd ahead of Don Satterfield. Michelle Theriault out now with mechanical troubles. Her first start at 26th. Kennington, DJ Kennington in 31st in that 77N. Rice in 33rd, and Billy Mowry, first car out in the John Boy Billy's barbecue sauce car. There's Danny O'Quinn in the 02. E.J. Fogelman fighting for position. Clay Rogers has had the dominant horse here tonight at USA International. We'll see if he can close the deal when we come back. Back on speed, coverage of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup season opener here in 2004. With Scott Sutherland, I'm Rick Benjamin, watching a virtuoso performance being turned in tonight by Clayton Rogers in car number 44. Danny O'Quinn in the 02, hanging right in there in 5th position. He's right behind young Matt Carter in the 22, who's doing a terrific job. Fogelman is 6th. Brad Rogers 7th. Mike Laughlin is 8th. Your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. Here's Bobby Gill in the 5. He's worked his way around Shane Huffman. So Gill back to second now, but he hasn't shown that he's got anything for Rogers.
Well, he's saving it, okay? He just should be patient. Maybe he's just working his way up there. But I think it's absolutely wonderful to see him go from the back of the field all the way, put on a dominant torch tonight. And yeah, the 44 car is checked out, but there's some great racing going on back here with Jay Fogelman, Danny O'Quinn. These guys are really racing hard.
Clayton Rogers in the 44, the Toff's bedliner car, working through lap traffic once again, moving around the 18 car to put him another lap down. Rogers able to drive that car high, low, doesn't matter where he needs to run it. The car works perfectly for him. He's building a big lead over Bobby Gill. Let's check in with Doug Rice.
Young Jimmy Lang now back behind the wall. He's been comforted by some of his crew members. First off, Jimmy, it's apparent that you're okay. What went wrong out on the track?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just we didn't have a great pit stop, but we got back out there about 3 laps into it. We got turned by the number 1 car, so we'll come back. We'll be back in a week or 2.
Now, Jimmy, I know that this is your first Hooters Pro Cup race. You're 15 years old and you're a rookie at this, but what were you able to learn in the half of the race that you were able to compete in?
I learned a bunch, riding behind cars, figuring out lines on this track, just getting seat time behind other cars. We could have been a top 10 car. It's just all you got to do is ride and stay out of trouble.
Pretty big learning curve here for 15-year-old Jimmy Lang, but he'll be back next time, guys.
Sounds pretty confident.
Well, absolutely, but he's right. You got to keep yourself in position to finish the race and then get that top 10 finish to start your career.
Rogers working his way up on Derek Kelly from Auburndale, Florida. The 00 car about to drop him another lap down. Michael Rich smokes by. 1 car in trouble. It's the 25 machine, Billy Bigley Jr., the Peerless Ford. Looks like he has made some contact with another car, perhaps the 3 of Mark Whitaker we're hearing on the radio. Looks like he's got to cut down left front tire.
And unfortunately for him, he was trying to get the car wound up enough to get down pit road, and because it's flat, it wouldn't stop and got past pit road and now has come all the way around.
He's really causing some damage underneath that
what's
race
happening is it's tearing up the arm that hooks to the sway bar. By the time he gets back, they will have no sway bar left whatsoever. He'll be just lucky to get it if they don't get into the A-frame and everything else. But what a terrible break. That team was running real well tonight being here. His first time in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. This guy knows how to win races.
Yes, he does. We saw him win an ARCA Remax Series race at Memphis Motor Speedway a couple of seasons back. Former All-Pro Series champion. Lots of experiences, even raced in the top levels of NASCAR over the years. They're having trouble getting the car up after all that damage underneath. They'll take the opportunity to fuel the car, put some new tires on as well, but I think they need to get under and have a look-see.
Well, I would definitely want to take a look at that left front corner and see how bad it got tore up. But you know, when you have a flat tire, it's so hard to get the car up. You got to get a bar under it before you can get the jack under it.
Rogers continues to lead. No threat to him. Bobby Gill runs second. On a black flag now being shown to Whitaker. There's the sheet metal damage to the right side of the 3 car for that contact with Bigley. So Whitaker will be brought to pit road for a conversation and probably a stop-and-go penalty. Rogers in the 44. Brake rotors up front glowing, but he hasn't had any problems tonight.
And we've watched this all night long out of several racers with a lot of that heat problem in their rotors, but that's only for a little bit. They stand on the brakes really hard and get back up and let them cool.
Gill runs second. Let's ride with Michael Rich in the Jackaroo Meat Sauces Dodge. Rich had problems early in the night, spent several laps on pit road. He's being shown some 30 laps down right now, but still out there getting some seat time with these brand new radial tires the teams are using. We'll be back with more of the Lucas Oil 250.
Welcome back to the Lucas Oil 250 presented by Hooters Air, right here on Speed.
Great night for racing. Terrific kickoff to the 2004 Hooters Pro Cup season. The South Tour in action with several Northern Series invaders on hand. Everyone chasing the Toff Bedliners 44 of Clay Rogers. Joe Gaeta has been strong tonight in the 06. He's now gone a lap down. Jody Lavender in the 99 has hung around in the top 15 tonight, but he's been unable to run with Rogers either.
I don't know if you call this a clinic. Do you call this a college?
I call it a whipping.
This is a whooping. This guy, they have really found what he needed sometime during practice. Not only set on the pole, new track record. Man, if they go green, he'll lap the field at this pace.
Now, we talked earlier, this is the car and the team that Benny Gordon had so much success with as a rookie last season, especially at the end in the championship series, ending up second in points. He's got a new deal this year. He'll be on the North Tour full time. Let's check out the battle for 5th. Fogelman and the 02 of Danny O'Quinn. Brad Rogers, Clay's brother in the 29. He ran second earlier. He's been slowly working his way back toward the top 5.
Well, remember, he had to make a pit stop. They had a little problem in the left front corner, had to come back in
contact.
again. Oh,
couple of cars in the wall up in 2. Rogers gets into O'Quinn and turns him around. Laughlin stands on the brakes. Doesn't look like much damage done to the 02, but the caution is out once again.
Man, oh man, what a tough break. That was a good group of cars racing right there.
Trouble for the 81, the Mercury Energy Drink car, young Michael Rutkamp from Wilton, Connecticut, 17 years of age. He made a handful of North Tour starts last year. Really impressive and very strong here tonight, up in the top 10.
Yeah, it was running great.
Next up for the series, the Hooters Pro Cup 250 runs on Saturday, March the 20th at New Smyrna Speedway, not far from here, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And we'll see it in prime time on Speed, 8 o'clock Eastern on Thursday, March the 25th. So mark your calendars. Let's take a look at our Lucas Oil race recap now as we move toward the 200 lap mark tonight. On the start, Dave Pletcher on the outside pole. Clayton Rogers, the pole sitter. Didn't take Rogers long to establish his dominance. He was able to get by. He has led much of the race. Big tangle on lap 61, a wreck up in turn 1. 4 cars involved, including the machine of Mark Nesbitt. On lap 125, the cross flag shown to Mike Laughlin Jr. in the 7 car. He stayed out of trouble, stayed out on the racetrack, and earned the $1,000 halfway leader bonus. On lap 131, going for the lead, Joe Gaeta had it. He and Clayton Rogers made some contact going down into turn 1. The 06 went around. That gave Rogers the lead back, and that is your Lucas Oil race recap. Gearing up for the restart, Gaeta in the 06, Rogers in the 44 side-by-side. Gaeta not on the lead lap anymore.
But he wants to change that. If he can hang with him, have just a little something happen, he can get back on the lead lap.
60 to go here at USA International. Rogers puts the foot to the floor, grabs side gear, says, see you later. Let's check our Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. Bobby Gill second, Huffman third. Brad Rogers is sixth, Laughlin Jr., O'Quinn. Danny Sammons with a good run into ninth. Gaeta showing in 10th. 9 cars remain on the lead lap here tonight.
Very strong. That's because of Clayton Rogers. The car is so fast. And Michael Rich, a car that has really struggled. Well, I thought would really be a good player in tonight's race. And you made a point earlier. They came back out, work on their car, just get some good seat time with these radial tires.
A lot of this is testing and learning here tonight. The first race of a very long season for these USAR Hooters Pro Cup teams, many of which will run 20 or more events this year. Many teams run a few North Tour or a few South Tour races, plus all of their regular points-paying events. Back toward the front of the field, Jay Fogelman now has gotten by the 84 of Shane Huffman, working his way up on Gaeta, who's not on the lead lap, but hanging in 10th spot.
And Jay Fogelman's car really has come back to him, so to speak, here later in this race. He didn't really like what he had earlier, but I think he likes what he has right now.
Jay Fogelman has moved to third in the Lucas Oil Products Ford. He's ahead of Shane Huffman. How about a call for young Matt Carter in the 22, the HeavyTruckSales.com machine. Travis's son with a great run into the top 5.
And he's got another little rookie right behind him that is putting on a whale-over race as well. And here comes Mike Laughlin back in the picture.
That 22 car, by the way, that's one of the Black's Tire Service cars. Very familiar, number 22. Oh,
whoa,
trouble
whoa, whoa,
coming off
whoa.
turn 4. A couple of cars involved. Our 10th yellow waving tonight. Calvin Redwine in the 85 and DJ Holzel in the 18 car. Redwine's beautiful Calvin's Auto Sales Chevrolet with that aqua-colored paint scheme coming to a stop. Not much damage, apparently. We'll see when we come back at USA. Welcome back. The Hooters Pro Cup Series is on Speed tonight. The Lucas Oil Products 250, presented by Hooters Air at USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida. With Scott Sutherland, I'm Rick Benjamin. Doug Rice is on pit road tonight, closing in on 50 laps to go. Lead lap cars will restart up high. Cars a lap or more down on the bottom. Joe Gaeta, the first of those cars. Your restart leader. He's been out front of just about all night in that 44. Clayton Rogers has been the dominant player. Bobby Gill right behind him one more time.
With another great restart, but you know what? 50 laps to go. You've really got to start taking some chances if you want to get to the front of the pack.
Jay Fogelman has motored his way to third in the 4 car. I don't know if Fogelman's got anything for the leaders, though.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, but it looks like Bobby Gill's got a heck of a run going right now.
Gill says 50 to go. My time is here. Let's see if he can do anything with Rogers. 3-time series champion Bobby Gill trying to track down young Clayton Rogers. Our BF Goodrich full field summary with 50 to go. Rogers, Gill, and Fogelman. Huffman is 4th. Brad Rogers up to 6th after a spin earlier. Mike Laughlin, O'Quinn. Michael Rutkamp has spun, but he's still 10th. Jody Lavender's worked his way to 11th ahead of Luke Hill. Tom Buzzy back to 16th. He's been in the wall once tonight. Danny Simmons with a mechanical problem back in 20th. Martin Nesbitt 21st, 12 laps down. There's Derek Kelly in 22nd. Lang in 30th, right behind Theriault. Satterfield gets credit for 28th tonight. Kennington in 31st. Federico 32nd. Rice 34th. And then Billy Mowry, first car out here tonight. And look at this. Rogers has got 5 car lengths on Gill.
Yeah, once the tires got warmed up, he drove back away from Bobby Gill, and I just don't think Gill has anything for him.
Jay Fogelman, meantime, falling further off the pace. He's got his hands full with Shane Huffman. Clearly, the 4 car's been strong, not quite strong enough.
Well, it's been a great car, though. Consider where they were this afternoon, making all the changes. Jay Fogelman did great with the Lucas Oil Ford. I don't think he had any idea they were going to be in this position this late in the race.
Oh, trouble for the 84.
Man.
Some smoke showing in Shane Huffman's machine as they go down into turn 1. He is off the pace, clearly not up to speed.
I think that's an engine. Boof. It's
sure
gone.
Looked that way.
Wow.
Huffman, the defending series champion, lost his sponsor over the winter. They bring the car to the first race of the season anyway, and it appears that the motor has let go with 50 to go tonight. Back in front.
It has not been Shane Huffman's night. He's been in several different type of encounters, and now if it's a terminal blown engine, it's not typically of him.
29 of Brad Rogers marching up through the field to pit road. Doug Rice.
Shane Huffman had been running in the top 5 consistently throughout the night, but as we get to the 200 or so lap mark, Huffman comes in, smoke boiling out from the motor compartment, and it looks like the engine has given up the ghost on the number 84 for Shane Huffman, who was the most recent winner at this track, but no repeat tonight for the Pro Cup Series champion of Shane Huffman. Looks like his night will come up about 45 laps short here at Lakeland.
Take one more look at what happened as Huffman came down into turn 1 trying to close in on Fogelman.
Wow, did you see the lights flash up underneath the hood? It looked like a camera going off under there.
Tough break indeed for the defending series champion. Now for 4th spot, Brad Rogers in the 29 has got his mirror full of Mike Laughlin's 7 car. Remember, Laughlin was the halfway leader here tonight, so he's had a strong race car as well. But Rogers really starting to rumble in the last 50 laps. Let's hear from the defending Hooters Pro Cup champion, who is behind the wall with Doug.
2003 Hooters Pro Cup Series champion Shane Huffman. Shane, it looked like you might be ready to repeat here tonight. Then 45 laps from the end, it all goes away. What went wrong?
Something happened to the motor. It's a shame, you know. We had a good race car. After the pit stop, we made some adjustments. You know, when I got behind Clay there, it just felt like it started really getting sluggish, pushed all the water out. You know, we ain't got no sponsor right now. We really don't need this, but hopefully we'll be back at New Smyrna either way.
You can tell the disappointment in his voice.
He was grasping for words, and understandably so. You get so frustrated. Your adrenaline gets so high by driving so hard, and when something like that happens, it is very, very frustrating.
Clay Rogers putting another lap on Sam Falone, closing in on Calvin Redwine. Lap starting to wind down tonight here at USA. Rogers has been the dominant force by far. He's led all but 11 laps tonight, according to our scorecard, and that was during a cycle of pit stops around halfway.
I think we should make it fair. He should go up and run in the 3rd group and let everybody else run on the bottom, because he is just going to town on these poor fellas.
Well, if it were road racing, he'd be carrying a weight penalty next time out at New Smyrna. But it won't be that way in the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Clay Rogers dominating in that 44 car, closing in on another lapped car to put the 18 one more lap down here tonight. Running a nice line. Obviously, the cars performed perfectly. Oh, trouble. Turn 2. One car goes around. 33 to go. It's the 81 of Michael Rutkamp, the Mercury Energy Drink car. He has stayed off the wall, but he has spun for the 2nd time here tonight.
It was right in front of the leader as well. That could have really been devastating for Clayton Rogers.
So we'll take the opportunity for a quick break. Shane Huffman having a word on pit road. We'll be back at Lakeland. Welcome back on Speed. Caution after that spin by Michael Rutkamp. USAR officials and all the over-the-wall personnel for the first time tonight required to wear helmets. The USAR folks taking another step to enhance safety on pit road. Down to Doug Rice.
Michelle Theriault, like all the other rookies tonight, had great expectations rolling into Lakeland, but you're out of this thing way too early. What put your number 8 back here in the garage, Michelle?
Well, we were running pretty good there, and our car was getting real strong, so we decided to start passing some cars out there, and we got caught up with one, and when we spun, we think we broke the ratchet, and with broken ratchet, you can't do much, so we had to take the night off.
All right, what did you learn in your Hooters Pro Cup debut tonight that can help you as you go along through the season?
Well, you know, we only raced 150 laps, but it was great seat time, passed a lot of cars, was in traffic, and just the experience alone and getting used to cars was great. So I don't regret any of it tonight, and we'll move on to the next race. All
right, Michelle, like the other 14 rookies in this race tonight, gaining a lot of valuable seat time, and she'll be back for the next show.
And folks, what she's talking about is the mechanical lockup unit that's in the rear end that actually makes both of your rear wheels pull. If that thing breaks, only one wheel will pull, and it is a nightmare to drive.
Not very fast either.
Absolutely not.
Michelle Theriault now racing out of Alpharetta, Georgia, originally from Massachusetts. Her dad had the opportunity to come south with his work. She sees the opportunity to begin her driving career at a younger age than she might have been able to in the Northeast. Good to have her on tour. First female driver in the series here in 2004. Field lining up for yet another restart. Laps, though, winding down. Just a few to go here tonight. Bobby Gill with one more opportunity. Jay Fogelman lined up right behind as well in the 4 car. Everyone's still looking at the back bumper of the 44.
Yeah, but the 5 car got a great run on him on the last restart. Let's see if he can do it again and maybe finish him off this time.
28 laps to go. The green flag's back in the air at USA International. Gill tracking right behind Rogers. Mike Laughlin up to 4th. Your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. Brad Rogers has the 29 up in 5th. Matt Carter with a good night tonight in the 22. Danny O'Quinn, Gaeta, Rutkamp, and Lavender your top 10. Rutkamp just spun, still in the top 10. Meantime, here's Laughlin. He wants 3rd to get around the 4 car of Fogelman.
That was a strong move. Fogelman slid up just a little, opened up a little bit. Whoa,
oh boy,
no.
Trouble. Is that Sam Falone?
Sam Falone.
Our 12th caution of the night. Falone spins out of northern New York State up into the wall in turn 2. He'll be a North Tour regular as a rookie this year, coming south to get some experience with the new radial tires in the series, but he has had a rough night tonight, his first trip to USA International Speedway. The Piro Vegetables car refired. Falone will move it down below the line. He'll have to come to pit road so they can have a look-see at that car. Let's take another look at what happened as Laughlin and Fogelman battle. Looks like Falone was just too high going into turn 1.
Yeah, he got a little bit high on his entry line, got on the brakes a little bit too hard, got up in those marbles, and when you pick the marbles up in your right side tires, the car's going to come around. There's nothing you can do about it.
Getting close to 25 laps to go. Now, as strong as Clayton Rogers has been in the 44, there's a look at Matt Carter's 22 car. Gill has lined up behind Rogers several times tonight. Gill's got a lot of tricks in his bag. What would you do if you were Bobby Gill?
Well, you're going to try to intimidate him. If there's any such a thing with Clayton Rogers, try to put a little pressure on it, but you know what? You just hope you got enough car with the last 20. Clayton Rogers doesn't want to see another caution the rest of the night, I'll guarantee you.
Green flag back in the air. Rogers leads him down into turn 1. Gill is 2nd, Fogelman 3rd, Laughlin is 4th, Brad Rogers is 5th. Coming up on 20 laps to go momentarily, our Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. There you see the first 5. Matt Carter 6th ahead of O'Quinn. Joe Gaeta not on the lead lap, but sitting 8th. Rutkamp and Lavender still in the top 10. Sam Falone was showed 16th when he spun and hit the wall there a moment ago. So the cars remaining on the racetrack, all with good evenings going to open up the 2004 season. Daniel Johnson in the 56. He's not on the lead lap any longer, but he's been strong tonight.
Absolutely. Had a great race car. The 4 to 7 and the 29. They've got a whale of a race going. I'll tell you, if one guy makes a mistake, this thing is like that.
Yeah.
Hang in there, boys.
Mike Laughlin almost put a bumper on Fogelman as they raced for 3rd spot. Late in the going, Brad Rogers takes a look at the bottom. Now he's got the lap car of Johnson, the 56, in the way, so the low line into the corner, I wouldn't think it'd be where he'd want to go. Up front, Rogers with Gill right behind him.
And Bobby Gill has got him covered if he can just make a little mistake or find a little hole. And what about this?
Brad Rogers to the bottom of the racetrack. He wheels by Laughlin for 4th. Here he comes, working on Fogelman. Up front, meantime, Clay Rogers, 3 car lengths ahead of Bobby Gill.
Checked out. Jay Fogelman could not clear Daniel Johnson. That made him stay outside, probably cooked his tires a little bit, and opened the door.
Rogers moves the 29 car to 3rd. What a great run for the rookie driver. His first ever start in Hooters Pro Cup competition. His brothers led just about all the way tonight. Could be a sweep of the top 2 spots for a brother act. Could be the first time, apparently, according to USAR officials, that a pair of brothers has run so well in the same race.
That's unbelievable, but that is the talent pool that you can draw from. That really shows how strong this series is.
Laughlin now right up behind Fogelman, leaning on the floor, roughing him up a little to get by. Laughlin makes the move, moves Fogelman out of the way, coming off turn 4. And Georgie Brunholzl takes the 20 by. He's not on the lead lap either, but the door is open back there. The 22 of Matt Carter dirt tracking it through the corner.
Is he working on that steering wheel or what?
He's working on that right rear tire, that's for sure. Brunholzl in the 20 car, a good strong run for that rookie driver.
Mike Laughlin felt he had a little bit faster race car than Jay Fogelman. He applied a little pressure, made the hole open up, drove through it. Let's see if there's going to be any retaliation later on, but that was a very good move. Nobody spins. No.
17 to go, and the yellow waves again. Trouble on lap 233. Michael Rutkamp gets into Sam Falone, or vice versa. Little contact on the way by as well for Calvin Redwine. And we've got caution on the speedway. Rutkamp was running in the top 10 solidly. Falone, as we mentioned, was 16th when he backed into the wall a few laps ago. Hard contact coming off turn 2, and we've got problems on the speedway.
The 81 car spun, and Sam Falone had nowhere to go. He was bunched in with some other traffic and had nowhere to go, and that is the end result of a very tough crash.
Falone's front end seriously shortened up. The Puro Vegetables Chevrolet, he's got the helmet off. He'll be climbing out of the 48N here momentarily. A lot of fluid spilled on the racetrack, so the yellow is out, and this could be a lengthy cleanup tonight here at USA International.
Sure, I'm glad to see him moving in that car, Rick, because that was a heck of a lick.
Track safety workers checking with young Michael Rutkamp to make sure he's okay. Let's take another look at what happened. That 81 car from the Extra Motorsports stable, a teammate to Shane Huffman, looked like the right rear went away, and he just went around and into the wall.
Yeah, the right rear was definitely down, but I think that was aftermath. Oh, boy.
Falone trying to jump on the brakes, couldn't get woed in time, and piled into the 81 Redwine, just sneaking by on the inside. So the red flag is out here at USA International to facilitate the cleanup tonight. The 48 of Sam Falone going out on the hook. That 81 car out of the Extra Motorsports stable, that's the car Shane Huffman won 5 races in a year ago on his way to the Hooters Pro Cup title. We'll be back at Lakeland. Welcome back on speed. The Lucas Oil 250, less than 15 laps to go. Gearing up for one final restart. Let's get a quick word with the crew chief for our leader.
Brad, it looks like it's going to be a trophy dash here just a handful of laps ago when we get the restart. Can Clay hold off Bobby Gill? Can Clay hold off his brother Brad and win this thing?
I hope so. These cautions keep hurting us. Clay's car is real good on a long run. Bobby gets a little run on us on these restarts, so these restarts keep getting me worried. I wish this thing could just go on green.
Is Clay aware where Brad is right now in the race? Does he know baby brother's running just a car or so behind him?
Oh yeah, they got a radio frequencies in the car. They switch back and forth. Having a blast out there, man.
Is that brotherly love?
That is what racing is all about, man. That is awesome.
Talking trash could be as much fun as whipping somebody on the speedway.
Absolutely, but here's the thing. What he's talking about is every time you go to another restart, all you got to do is miss a gear, blow a transmission, tear up a clutch, a master cylinder. Anything can go wrong, or maybe the guy next to you breaks and takes you out of the race. They want to get this thing over with, and I'm telling you, the jitters are inside you right now.
The 11 laps to go this time by. Safety cars in, green flag back in the air. Clay Rogers in the 44 has led all but 11 laps. Bobby Gill second in the 5. Brad Rogers runs third in the 29. Mike Laughlin is fourth. Your Naturally Fresh Foods top 10. Coming up 10 to go. Fogelman is fifth. Second 5, O'Quinn, Matt Carter, Joe Gaeta, Jody Lavender, and Luke Hill. Involved in an early incident tonight. He has worked hard to get back into the top 10.
Absolutely. And I like Mike Laughlin's car. That last caution really hurt him. He had some momentum going. His car was up underneath him very well. And maybe he can make a run here at the 29 before this is over. But it looks like the 44 has gotten away from Bobby Gill again.
This is that time of the race when if you're out front, you start hearing all sorts of noises. Brad Rogers dragging some body work going down into the corner in the 29 car. His march up through the field could be curtailed. Maybe he's got a tire going down.
Well, you'd hate to see that after having a run the way he has all day long. You'd hate to see that happen.
Clay Rogers quickly 4 car lengths ahead of Bobby Gill. We've seen this time after time on the last half a dozen restarts. Gill starts right behind Clay Rogers. Once we get a lap or two in, the 44 pulls away.
and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to get everything he can out of his race car. Bobby Gill has an excellent race car, has put on a heck of a show. He just lacks one more to beat.
Jay Fogelman in the 4, Danny O'Quinn in the 0-2, fighting for position. They are 5th and 6th on the racetrack. Fogelman a contender, not quite strong enough to get up and run with the leaders. Young Matt Carter in the Black's Tire Service 22 doing a great job. And there's Daniel Johnson in the 56 car. He has fought hard. Luke Hill in the 41, rounding out the top 10 out of Safety Harbor, Florida. Good night tonight for him.
And I've been very impressed with Matt Carter. I mean, that is your best rookie, with the exception of the 29 car. So these kids, we got a lot to look forward to.
Sure do. And there's Jody Lavender in the 99, veteran of the NASCAR Truck Series, holding off Calvin Redwine, a little bit loose coming off the corner. Joe Gaeta in the 06 will try to swing by Redwine. Redwine, a little bit of damage you could see to the right front corner after that incident on the backstretch with Fallone and Rutkamp a few moments ago.
I think these guys are just trying to get home. Now you're within 10 laps. You're just trying to get this thing in, go home, work on your race car. And this guy, well, we know what he's trying to do.
Well, Clay Rogers is, as they say, paid the bill and checked out. He's in a different zip code at the moment, working toward his first victory with 5 to go here in 2004. Gill in second in the 5, and a great drive for Gill to come from the back of the field after changing that brake road.
Absolutely. They came down here. They're not a full team right now. They don't have everybody back in place. Had to find them a spotter when they got here, but I think Bobby Gill is right back up to par where he was a couple years ago.
Brad Rogers in the 29 South, the Fire Protection Systems car. Nice run to 3rd tonight, his first career start. He's learned a lot from his older brother.
Wow, when he could see him.
Clay Rogers lapping traffic at will here tonight. Gill just trying to stay in the same ballpark as the 44. Looks like the front nose piece on the 29 is what's dragging when he goes down into the corner. Has he got a broken shock on the right front corner?
No, what may have happened here is the cars just settling a little bit. Maybe a spring is starting to fatigue a little bit, and your car will go away a little and the spring will fatigue and you're dragging the nose. I don't think it's a flat tire. I don't think it's a broken shock. That car would really be crazy on him.
Well, Clay Rogers and Brad Fritz have done a great job with the 44 tonight. They put a great setup on that machine. Bobby Gill, meantime, fighting hard to hang on to second spot. It's been a good night for Gill. I think we'll see a lot of him this season.
Absolutely. And I think with a new attitude and a new ambition to be out front.
First of a couple of trips this season to USA International for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour. Rogers in the Toth Bedliners Ford. No problem. White flag will be in the air. 1 to go here at Lakeland for Rogers. There's Gill in second spot. Last time around, Bobby's been here. He's had a lot of success here. He's won many races at this place over the years. Down the backstretch, one final time for Rogers.
Well, I was at the car when he came off the racetrack after qualifying. He was shaking a little bit because he was nerved up from running that new track record, but I can only imagine how nerved up he is right now. Congratulations.
Clayton Rogers leads 239 of the 250 laps tonight, waxes the field in the season opener at USA International. The fireworks go off to celebrate Clay Rogers' fantastic run in the Toth Bedliners Ford. He's your first winner in Hooters Pro Cup competition here in 2004. He's going to treat the fans to quite a show, I believe, here on the front straightaway.
I think this automotive specialist engine and these BF Goodrich TA radios are really going to catch heck right about now.
You can hear the engine winding up. Clay Rogers wants to celebrate his first win of the new season with quite a burnout on the front straightaway. Wow. We will come back to meet the winner and recap the other stories of the evening here at Lakeland in a moment.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters, the cure for the common restaurant. Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Lucas Oil Products, a leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. Jackaroo Meat Sauces, served in America's finest backyards.
Welcome back on Speed in Victory Lane. Clay Rogers unbuckling, climbing out, first winner of 2004.
What I'm impressed with is I don't think he even broke a sweat. I know it's a cool night out here, but he doesn't have a bit of sweat on him.
He leads 239 of the 250 laps. That's about as strong as it could be.
Wow, you're kidding.
Big celebration in Victory Lane. Doug Rice working his way in to talk to our winner.
All right, we'll fight our way in here as Clay Rogers is being mugged here on the Victory Lane at Lakeland International Speedway. Very emotional win for Clay. All right, his younger brother in here to congratulate him also. Well, Clay, let's talk about it. You started off the day by setting the track record here at Lakeland, and a few hours later, you're standing in victory lane. Have you ever had a car that was this dominant throughout an entire race?
I tell you what, I scared myself there a couple times. I was running so hard, and especially there on the last couple restarts that Bobby started hanging with me there for a couple laps, but he was just really, really up on the wheel, and thought I burned my stuff up. I might have messed up, but these tires were just awesome. They stay with you. They don't fall off. Man, I mean, we were running just as fast there at the end of the race as we were 2 or 3 laps into the race, and it's a joy to drive the race cars now that you got some grip. And just love them radials, man. And this Toff bedliner car was a tough piece tonight, I tell you that much. Automotive specialist built us an awesome, awesome engine, and I put it to the test. We twisted her every lap of this race. Billy Hess, can't say enough about what he does for the whole series. Just everybody, he's always there for everybody, and he stays on top of his game. Just RE suspension technology, Jason Enders, those guys do my shocks, and they just do an excellent, excellent job, and everybody that works on the car is just awesome.
Clay, you were impressive tonight. You had one of the best, finished second behind you and Bobby Gill. But back there in third was your little brother. Were you aware of how well Brad was running throughout the evening?
I stayed on his radio as much as I did mine. I had a radio where I could switch it over there. Larry McNeil at Racecom really hooked me up good there, and I could switch over under the cautions. How you doing, buddy? And it's going good. You know, my car's doing this, and I could say, well, you can try bouncing the left run off the apron and stuff like this, and he was really, really receptive. He had a little trouble on pit road there, but those guys will bounce back. They dig hard, and they're all young guys just like our crew, and they don't quit, man. He's going to be a contender, especially when we come up to Concord. That's going to be a heck of a race, I'll guarantee you that.
Not enough that you got to deal with everybody else. Your own family members are out to get you. So Clay Rogers moles a big win here tonight as he's the victor at Lakeland.
Dominant run certainly for Rogers. He had everybody covered from the time they rolled into the place. Bobby Gill second, Rogers, Brad in third, Laughlin and Fogelman the top 5. How about Gaeta, Lavender, and Hill rounding out the first 10?
And those guys, they had a strong effort early in the race, had to overcome a bunch of things to get back into the top 10.
Jimmy Mann gets up into 11th, Buzzy and Red Wine, Billy Bigley and DJ Holzel the top 15. Michael Rutkamp, despite that hard wreck, gets credit for 20th.
Absolutely. Michael Rich had a tough night. Shane Huffman, I thought, had a great race car, and then with a blown engine took him out of the contention.
And that 24th place finish certainly will hurt him in the points chase. I'm sure all these drivers thinking about it already. First race of the season. Jimmy Lang, DJ Kennington, Pletcher 33rd, Billy Mowry 36th tonight. The first driver out here at USA International. It's a long season though, and here's a guy who I'm sure we'll see a lot of in victory lane.
Bobby Gill broke out the orange number 5 tonight, and it was good for a second place finish in the season opener here tonight. Bobby, just that 44 awfully strong. Did you have any chance at all to catch him?
No, not really. I mean, the last couple of restarts I could run with him for about a lap or two, but you know, we borrowed a brake caliper off of them tonight before the race started, and we're still having brake problems, pumping the brakes up all night. But our car wasn't, it was good, but not good enough to beat him tonight. But you know, I got to thank Clayton Rogers and his dad and them letting us borrow the trailer to come down here this weekend and run. And I mean, it took a lot for us to get here this weekend, and I think we'll go to New Smyrna and go to the next race and see what happens then.
Now, you put together a lot of things to make this happen tonight, including having a past champion in Jason Sarvis serve as your spotter. Okay, give us the inside scoop. How was your spotter tonight?
Jason did a good job. He done a real good job. He rode down with us Friday or Thursday when we come down here, and he's helping Chad Mullis, and they had a problem, and he was going home. I said, no, you know, you're going to spot tonight. So he did a good job. And Mark Huff did, runs the North Series with Johnny Rumley. He's been helping me here a little bit, and we had a bunch of volunteer help today, so maybe we'll see what happens for New Smyrna.
So Bobby Gill breaks away from his traditional black number 5. They bring an orange painted car to the track tonight, and it's good for a runner-up spot in the season opener.
I think he will make a lot of noise before the season is done. Brad Rogers, our Miller Lite Rookie of the race, he made plenty of noise tonight.
Obviously a big night for the Rogers family here in Lakeland. Clay takes the victory and coming home in a pretty close third. Younger brother Brad. Not a bad debut tonight, Brad.
No, not bad at all. Just got to thank everybody on the team. You know, they did a great job. Fire Protection Services, T.L. Hyman Properties, Automotive Specialist, Billy House Racing. These cars are so awesome on these radial tires. I've never got to drive them on the bi-sply, but I learned a whole lot tonight. I just got back behind Clay and Bobby Gill. I didn't have quite as good a car as them, but I learned a whole lot, and I'm happy with our result.
Now, Brad, Clay says that he talked with you a lot during the race, that he'd switch over and chat with you. How much of a comfort was that to have your big brother who's leading the race kind of talking you around the speedway tonight?
That was really cool. That's like something you'd see on TV, but man, it really helped a lot. You know, I could ask him what I could do to help my car turn off the corner a little bit better, and you know, his 2 different race cars need two different things, so it was just a big comfort helping me. I mean, it really helped calm me down. He just, you know, kept giving me a lot of confidence, and my confidence was real low there at one time, man. I guess we were back to 30th or something after our pit stops, but man, I just feel great. This team did awesome.
So with a first and a third place finish tonight, the Rogers family dominant tonight here at Lakeland.
And Bobby Gill had a Rogers trailer, so kind of a top 3 sweep. 14 rookies took the green tonight. Brad Rogers finished 3rd. He was the leading rookie. Jimmy Lang, Kennington, Rice, and Snodgrass rounding out the rookie field. Our Hard Charger Award, a split tonight. Jimmy Mann Jr. came from 34th to 11th, gained 23 spots, as did Calvin Redwine, who started 36th and finished 13th. They share the Hard Charger Award. Get all the news you need from our series at USARProCup.com. We thank Racing Electronics and Bragg Environmental, the official spill absorbent of USAR. Also, Best Golf Cars, which provides our at-track transportation. Our website is SpeedTV.com. All the motorsports news you need 24/7. For Scott Sutherland and Doug Rice, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating Clay Rogers, the winner of the USAR season opener. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
We're going to Hooters to celebrate. Woo!